that's what breaks the cycle. That's why I tell people, is there someone you can tell? Or like, they tell me, and that breaks the cycle enough. That's why the
Yeah.
consultations are so
Yeah.
important.
I actually had that. I had that as something I want to address with you. So can we actually, is there anything that the science shows about relationships in healing and how those are kind of integrated? Like actually having, whether it's your partner or a tribe or, a fellowship of men, like having those from a rewiring standpoint. Is there anything that takes place in the brain when
definitely. And that goes back to, so the way I talk about it is building intimacy. And there's multiple different ways. And depending upon, if you look up the definition of intimacy, you'll find like 5 main types or 12 main types. But basically it's like having spiritual intimacy, physical intimacy, emotional, mental. So you can find intimacy. And this is actually crucial for recovery, finding intimacy with your partner if you have one. And even if you do have one, with other people, with a tribe, that's why 12-step groups have groups. Like you have to get a group so that you have a group of people that you can become vulnerable with.
Yes.
And so for me, and I tell people this every time I talk with them, is that when you build intimacy with other people, you allow yourself to be vulnerable. You let people into the soft spaces that you're afraid to let most people into. But by becoming vulnerable, and you just said this actually, you become invulnerable. It becomes your armor. Because if you allow yourself to open up to people, especially about a pornography habit, it no longer owns you. So you take that vulnerability, you share it with safe people. We should probably talk about that, but you share it with safe people, and then you become invulnerable because it no longer owns you. That's the way.
Yeah. So what would be an example of an unsafe person?
An unsafe person is someone who can't hear it. Someone who, they don't even have to do anything for you. They just have to be able to hear it and be there for you. So people who judge. And in one video I made recently, I tell, I'm talking to men when I make my videos. I say, do not judge yourself for this. And I wanted to say this to you before, but on my website, it says, you didn't create this, but this is your responsibility to take care of. And I believe that, because if your brain was hijacked, you didn't do this to yourself. If you have the genetic propensity, you lived a life of dysfunction or whatever, and then now your brain was hijacked, you didn't do this to yourself. But with great power comes great responsibility, which is why I'm doing psychoeducation on my channel, because that's part of epigenetics. So like linking it all together, that is how you get above it. But by creating connection, we are people, human beings are supposed to have connection. And so people think when they couple themselves to the screen, they're getting connection. But I have to tell you again, it's fake. It's not connection, it's isolation. So what they end up getting is isolation. So when you create connection in a group or with your partner, with your family, and you allow yourself to come back out, become vulnerable, let somebody in, that person has to be able to hear you, not try to fix you, and allow you to dump that out and then help you get the right help. Become a support system who's not fixing you, but supporting you in doing the things that you need to do. And this by helping people have to want to help themselves. And then the second thing I was gonna say is like non-judgmental, not judging you for it, and then extending grace. I use the word grace, having, grace for the journey that you're walking in, and being able to support you, and, that's safe. If somebody comes to me, I'm not going to try to fix them. I'm just going to help them problem solve what they can do with them, and be there behind them if in case they fall, or if they need a shoulder. And that is a safe person.